Welcome students to our online classes. Myself Ashwini Honkarse is going to explain you standard ninth lesson number 3 atoms and molecules. So students, we all are familiar already about atoms, right? What do you mean by atoms? Atoms are those substance which are very small, right? Atoms are those substance which are very small. Now we are going to study further about atom. So in India as well as of other countries, some scientists try to work on this atom and they want to explain about the atom. So let us move towards about that scientist. Then we are going to study about atoms. So he is Indian philosopher Maharishi Kannada. Who is Maharishi Kannada? What he said, atom is the smallest particle which cannot be further divided. What he said, atom is the smallest particle which cannot be divided further, means it is the last thing that which can't be further dividable. A next one is Antoine Lavoisier. What he said, he is a father of chemistry and he worked on many things and he given many elements. Which are those? Oxygen, carbon, nitrogen and silicon. So he is always remembered as father of modern chemistry. What he is? Father of modern chemistry. Lavoisier given us two important laws of chemical combination. For chemical combination, he given us two important laws for chemical combination. Let us study about these two laws. So, laws of chemical combination. The first law is law of conservation of mass, and the second law is law of constant proportion. So, while doing the chemistry about the matter, he given two main laws, and what the first one, that is law of conservation of mass and law of constant proportion. Then what the law of conservation of mass said? So Lavoisier studied more. He did many experiment on the process of combustion. So already we are familiar about combustion, and in the year of 1789 he given explanation for laws of conservation of mass. So what explanation he given? This law states that matter can neither be created nor destroyed. What he said? The matter can neither be created nor destroyed. In other words, the total mass, that is the sum of mass of reacting mixture and the product formed by the remains constants. Means what will happen when we will take H plus O, when we will take H plus O or H2O plus O, then if you got water molecule, the mass of H2 plus O is always equal to H2O. Means the LHS is always equal to RHS. So what he given explanation for this? The sum of mass of reacting mixture and the product formed remains constant. So now we are going to move towards the second law, that is law of constant proportion. The law of constant proportion. So this law is given by Prost, and it is this law is given by Prost, and we are telling that this law is called as a Prost's law. What we will call as Prost's law. So what the law will tell us, that in chemistry, law of a definite proportion, sometimes called as a Prost's law, and the law of constant composition states that a given chemical compound always contain its component elements in fixed ratio and does not depends on its source and method of preparation. So what he said, if you take any element, then its composition, whatever composition you will take, but the ratio will be always fixed. Then how it is, that I will explain you. What he said, the law of constant proportion, that law of that l- given chemical compound always contain its component elements in fixed ratio. So whatever elements are present in that compound, they contain fixed ratio and does not depends on its source and method of preposition. So how much source you take, whatever preposition you take, but the component of element ratio is always same. This implies that any pure simple sample of a compound, no matter the source, will always consist of the same element that are present in the same ratio by mass. So how it will be, that we will see the next. So let us study about another scientist, that is John Dalton. About John Dalton. So we already know in 8th standard, we already familiar with John Dalton. Then also let us know something about John Dalton. So what he awarded with a royal medal, and he's a British scientist, and he worked on atomic theory, law of multiple proportions, and he given Dalton law and color blindness. What is the process of color blindness? For this he worked a lot. So let us know what his theory will tell us. So, Dalton's atomic theory was the first complete attempt to describe all matters in terms of atoms and their properties. So, Dalton based on his theory on the law of conservation of mass and the law of constant composition. So, what we say, that Dalton based his theory on the law of conservation of mass and the law of constant composition. So why we took Dalton here? Because he given some theories. It depends on law of conservation of mass and law of composition. Then the first part of his theory states that all matter is made of atom which are indivisible. So what he said, the all matter whatever present in our surrounding, they all made from atom which are not divisible. They are the smallest particle of our world. So postulate. Postulate means what theory, what points he given in his theory. Let us see. All matter consists of indivisible particle called atom. So when you take any matter, it is made with the atom. It is made with what? Atom. And an atom is the smallest particle which cannot be divided again. The atoms of same element are similar in the shape and mass but differ from the atoms of other elements. So if you take hydrogen, hydrogen contain if any particles that are same to each other. But if you compare that hydrogen to the oxygen, they are little bit different, right? They are little bit different. So atoms of the same element are similar in shape and mass but differ from atom of other elements. Now the what third postulate says, atoms cannot be created or destroyed. So whatever chemical reaction will happen, they will react with the other chemicals. They react with the other chemicals, but that atom cannot be able to destroy, or we can't create them. Maybe another new particle will be formed, but that particle also contain the similar compounds. Then we can say that atoms cannot be created or destroyed. Now, what the fourth one said, atoms of different elements may combine with each other in a fixed simple whole number ratio to form compound atoms. So, compound atoms are those which contain a group of atoms. Compound is those which contain a group of atoms. The atoms of different elements may combine with each other in a fixed simple whole number ratio to form a compound atom. Suppose if we will take water molecule, hydrogen is different molecule here and water is different molecule. So what will happen if hydrogen molecule is bigger one, then oxygen molecules attach them to this, it will form a specific space, specific shape. So this is called as a water molecule. So here the shape will be different from hydrogen and oxygen, because hydrogen will exist in one and oxygen will be exist in two. When they will combine, they will form a another structure, and but they contain all the characteristics of hydrogen as well as oxygen. Now the next one is atoms of same element can combine in more than one ratio to form two or more compounds. What will happen? Atoms of same elements can combine in more than one ratio to form two or more compounds. So what will happen? Suppose if you take an hydrogen, hydrogen may combine with oxygen, carbon, any other elements to form different compounds. It may form different compounds. So if you take water, water is a molecule which contain H2O, which contain H2O. And again if you take hydrochloric acid, which contain hydrogen plus chloride molecule. So hydrogen will combine with any compound and any element to form a different compound. Now the next one is the atom is the smallest unit of matter that can take part in chemical reaction. So these atoms are the smallest particles which take part in the chemical reaction. So already we are familiar with the chemical reactions. Then also if we will write what? Hydrogen plus oxygen, then it will give you water molecule. So this is also a type of chemical reaction. If you take another chemical reaction, then hydrogen plus chloride molecule, it will give you hydrogen chloride. That is also a type of chemical reaction. Now next, so next we are going to study about atom. So before that, we all are familiar about some scientists, what work they did for the atom. And so now we are going to study about atom. So atom, we already studied that. What do you mean by atom? Atom is the smallest particle which cannot be dividable further. But while explaining what we can say, atoms are the basic building blocks of ordinary matter. So matter is a substance. From that, if you separate out something, so a last particle, a smallest particle is called as a atom. So atoms are the basic building blocks of a ordinary matter. Atoms can join together to form a molecules which in turn form most of the object around you. So matter, which are those which are present in your surrounding, that all called as a matter. So what we can say, atoms can join together to form molecules which in turn form most of the objects around you. So atoms take part in chemical reactions. So already we know about the chemical reactions, right? Now, next thing we are going to study about how big the atoms are. So just now we studied that atoms are smallest particles. Yes, they are very smallest particles. If they are smallest particles, then how much they are small? See, atoms are very small. They are smaller than anything that we can imagine or compare with. That we can imagine or compare with. So if you take a microscope or structural unit, then we can see the atoms like this. So our scientists try to define the atom and they given a imaginary shape for like this, that atoms look like this. It contain two or more atoms. It is a group of atoms and we can call it as a matter or a compound. What it is? A matter or a compound. Now, let us move towards about characters of atom. So, if atom is that much small, it is that much valuable for us. So, we have to know some characters about the atom. Yes, so let us see. Atom is the smallest particle of a matter. All elements are made of tiny particles called atoms. So we already know that matter is a substance which is made from elements, or matter is a substance which is made from this atom, and that matter is present in our surrounding. Now all elements that already in second lesson we studied about elemental chart, right? So that elements are made from tiny particles of atom. That atom are very small in size and cannot be seen through naked eyes. As the microorganism we can't see with the naked eyes like this, atoms also we can't see with the naked eyes. Atoms does not exist in free state in nature, but atoms takes part in chemical reaction. So some atoms are there, very few atoms are there, they exist in free stages. Yes, here they given, but then also very few atoms are there where they exist in a free states, and they take part in chemical reactions. For example, some chemical reactions I may give you which happen in your home, that turn of milk into curd, right? And fermentation of dosa flour, idli flour, or then again many reactions we can say, converting of tea powder into tea, converting coffee into milk coffee powder into coffee. These all are chemical reactions. Sugar syrup, sugar and mixture of water forming a sugar syrup, that is also a type of chemical reaction, right? So like this many chemical reactions happen in our surrounding also. Ripening of fruit, yes, decaying of matters, these all are chemical reactions. So who is taking part in that? Atoms are taking part in that. The properties in microorganisms are taking part in that. Like this many chemical reactions happen where the atoms will take in part. The properties of matter depends upon the characteristics of atom. So the properties, some atoms will mix with the another atom, and some atoms will not mix. Yes, because they have some particular properties and characteristics which depends on the matter, that how they will combine with each other. Atoms are the building blocks of the elements similar to brick which combine together to make a building. So what we can say, atom is the smallest part which may combine with another and they form a compound. They form what? A compound. So they look like a building blocks. How the construction will going on and how they constructed the home, that building blocks. So atoms look like this. The size of atom is indicated by its radius. So even though the atom is very small, but it contains particular size, and we can get it by its radius. In ancient time, atom was considered indivisible. So at the ancient days, it was considered indivisible. But nowadays, we got that which element is present single, which is in combined form. So now, as already in second lesson we have studied about periodic table, here also we are going to study little bit different in periodic table. So here some elements are given, right? Here H. First one is H. H means hydrogen. So you can get here, where is the second one? Second one is here in this corner, that is He. We can call it as helium. We can call it as helium. Now where is the third one? Third one is here, Li. Li is indicating with the name of lithium. Then fourth one, Be indicating it is a beryllium. So like this they have a particular numbers. What they have? They have particular numbers. So why that number is important? Suppose if you take an oxygen, what is the number of oxygen? 8, right? It contains 8. Its the number is 8. Means the oxygen contain 8 atoms. What it contain? It contain 8 atoms. Atom is always a combination of electron, proton and neutron. So oxygen contain 8 electron, 8 proton, 8 neutron. So understood why this periodic table is important for us, because whatever number is given here, that much molecules, that much atoms, that elements contain. If you take an example of potassium is indicating with the element K. What is the number of K? 19. So how many atoms are present in potassium? 19. Yes. So if you take Y indicating it is an yttrium. What it is? Yttrium. So it contains 39 atoms. How much? 39 atoms. If you take an example of I indicating iodine. What it indicates? Iodine. It contains how many atoms? It contains 53 atoms. So that's why this periodic table is very important to us. Now, so as you can observe this periodic table, the elements contain maybe single alphabet or two alphabets. Some contains only one alphabet, some contains two alphabet, right? So if you take in hydrogen, the capital letter, first letter hydrogen, that is contain H, right? But if you take iron, that contain Fe, right? It is somehow confusing. So how the scientist given the names for these elements? First of all, the scientist given names by the first element, first alphabet of that chemical, or where they can identify it, or by the names of scientists. So let us study about some elements, how they given the names for these elements. So let us see. Here we know that here it will show the pictures of gold, silver, copper, right? This one is a gold, silver, copper. See, each element has a name. Many of these names are already familiar to you. So you all are familiar about gold, silver, copper, because they are already available in our nature. Chlorine, platinum, carbon, oxygen and nitrogen. The names themselves are interesting. Many refer to a property of the element. The Latin name for gold is arum. See, in this periodic table, what we can say, if you take a periodic table, where is the gold? Gold number is here. It is of AU. AU. It is of 79 AU. What we will indicate with the gold, that is AU. It is indicating with the number 79. If you take silver, that is indicating with the name of AG. Yes, it is indicating the name of AG. Then like this, copper is indicating with a CU. It will be indicate with a CU. Then let us see. The Latin name for gold is arum, meaning shining dawn. What it is? Shining dawn. And the Latin name for mercury is hydrargyrum. What we can say? That is hydrargyrum and means liquid silver. What the mercury will indicating as liquid silver. So these names, which are those gold, silver, copper, chlorine, platinum, carbon, oxygen and nitrogen, they are indicating with the Latin words. How they are indicating? They are indicating with the Latin words. Now, so the practice of naming an element after one of its properties continues. So cesium, what about cesium? It is indicating with the alphabet C and S, capital C and small s. Why it is given? See, cesium was discovered in 1860 by German chemist Bunsen, inventor of the Bunsen. Yes, Bunsen burner, you already familiar that we have, right? So this Bunsen, chemist Bunsen, he invented the cesium because this element imparts a blue color of a flame. So Bunsen named the cesium for the Latin word cesius, meaning sky blue. What it mean? Sky blue. How the cesium name comes? By the word cesius, and it indicates what? Sky blue, right? Then see how the cesium looks like. When we will burn this cesium, it will give a blue, sky blue color flame. Now next one. Other elements are named for people. See, curium. Curium. She is a lady, very famous scientist lady. She is Marie Curie. Right? Marie Curie, who is the inventor of radium. Then, curium is named for Marie Curie, a pioneer in the study of radioactivity. She worked for radioactivity. Marie Curie, a French scientist of Polish birth, was awarded the Nobel Prize in Physics in 1903 for her studies of radioactivity. She was also awarded with a Nobel Prize in Chemistry in 1911 for her discovery of the elements polonium, named after Poland, and the radium, that is a Latin or radius called a ray. What indicates radium, that is a ray. Yes. Now the next, some elements are named for places. So some elements of that elemental chart is named for the places. The small town of Yetter by in Sweden has four elements named for it, that is terbium, yttrium, iribium and yttrium. So these are the words which are indicating the particular place name. Then, californium is another example of an element named for the place where it was first observed. This element does not occur in nature. It was first produced. See, the scientists were produced this. Which one? Californium. This element was not occurring in nature. It was produced by scientists in 1950 in the radiation laboratory at the University of California, Berkeley, by the team of scientists headed by Glenn Seiberg. So Seiberg was also the first of identifying curium at the metallurgical laboratory at the University of Chicago in 1944. So Seiberg himself was named the Nobel laureate in 1951 in honor of his pioneering work in the preparation of other unknown elements. So always this scientist is involved in finding new elements, right? So now the next one, each element has a symbol, one or two letters that represent the elements much as your initials represent you. The symbols of an element represents one atom of that element. For 14 of the elements, the symbol consists of one letter. So how many elements are there? Totally 14 elements are there which have only one letter, with the possible expectations of yttrium and vanadium. You are probably familiar with the names of all elements having one letter symbols. For 12 of these elements, the symbol is the first letter of the name. So in that 14 also, some 12 elements are there which are indicating with its naming first alphabet. So like this, we are giving the name of elemental chart. Understood? The periodic table, how they given the sign, how they given the alphabets that are given by particular places, the capital letters, Latin words, place names. Okay. Now next we are going to see that potassium. Potassium is indicating with the name of K, was discovered in 1807 and named for potash. So this is the potash, right? The substance from which potash was first isolated, that is potassium. Yes, potassium symbol is K, comes from kalium. How the word comes? By the kalium, the Latin word for potash. Tungsten discovered in 1783 and was symbol of W. Tungsten is there in our elemental chart and it is indicating that is W. For wolframite, the mineral from which tungsten was first isolated. How the word come here? W, that is wolframite. Most other elements have two letter symbols. In these two letter symbols, the first letter is always capitalized and the second is always lowercase. So 11 elements are there which are beginning with the letter C. One of them is carbon and has one letter symbol, that is C. The other 10 have two letter symbol. So only one is there, that is carbon, which is indicating single capital letter, and other 10 letters are there which are indicating with the two letters, and the first one is always capital and the second one is small. So for example, if you take an helium, helium is indicating H, capital H and E. Now second one, if you take cesium, cesium is indicating C and S. If you take lithium, Li, capital letter L and small letter I. So now we are going to study about atomic mass. So what exactly atomic mass is? So atomic mass, the quantity of matter contained in an atom of an element. It is expressed as a multiple of 1/12 of the mass of carbon. So that is nothing but called as a atomic mass. So if you take an element, an atomic number or any element like hydrogen. So if you take what? Hydrogen. Okay, so let us take oxygen. So oxygen can't what? If you take oxygen, the oxygen O is a symbol. What it indicates? If you take the chart, elemental chart, its number is 8, right? That is called as a atomic number, and we are indicating the atomic number with the alphabet Z. And what is its mass? That is 15.999. Now we have to read 15.999 AMU. How we have to read? 15.999 AMU. So if we will take oxygen, its mass is that much like this. All element contain a fixed mass. They contain fixed mass. So what is the value of AMU? AMU, the value of AMU is indicating with a 1.66 into 10 raised to minus 24 gram. How much it is? 1.66 into 10 raised to minus 24 gram. Okay, so I hope you understood what you mean by atomic mass. They have a particular mass and we are measuring this in terms of AMU. Now let us move towards about the molecule. So what do you mean by molecule? See, this is an example of molecule. Here what happened? Two elements are there. One is of hydrogen, another one is of oxygen. Yes, one is of hydrogen and another one is of oxygen. Here in this diagram, we have totally three molecules. Hydrogen, two molecules, and oxygen, one molecule. So when they will combine, what we will get? H2O, right? We will get H2O, that is a water molecule. So what we can explain about molecule? A molecule is an electrically neutral group of two or more atoms held together by a chemical bonds. So when the elements react with each other, yes, the elements react with each other, they becomes neutral, because we already studied some elements will take the electron and some elements will give the electron. When they react with each other, they take electron and they give electron and they become neutral. They will become what? Neutral. So like this, what we can say, a molecule is an electrically neutral group of two or more atoms held together by chemical bonds. So like this, if you take nitrogen, nitrogen is a single molecule. It is available in nature in two groups, but it is not a molecule. They are called as ions or atoms. Now we are going to study about atomicity of molecule. What it is? Atomicity of molecule. So atomicity is defined as the total number of atoms that constitute in a molecule. The total number of atoms that constitute in a molecule. So suppose one example we will go. So molecule of oxygen. Oxygen contain what? O. We can indicate it as a O. But what we are indicating here? We are indicating oxygen as O2. How we are indicating? O2 means totally how many molecules are available in nature? Together they are available in 2. The oxygen if you take, always we are getting O2. So it is composed of 2 oxygen atoms. So atomicity of oxygen is 2. In order contents, the term atomicity is sometimes used in the same sense as a valency. So atomicity is always term in the form of valency also. We can say that valency. So like this, if you take nitrogen is also available in nature in the group of N2. Carbon is always available in 1. So, on the basis of atomicity, molecules can be classified as, on the basis of atomicity, molecules. So, molecules, whatever chart we have, that 114 molecules, that molecules or that elements are divided in many groups. So, monoatomic means these elements available in nature in single, their valency is only 1. Their valency is only 1. So first one is He means helium. He means helium. Next is neon, Ne. They are Ne. Then third one is argon. Third one is argon. So they all which are available in our nature in monoatomic form, they are called as a noble gases. They are called as a noble gases. So let us see in our periodic table where the noble gases are present. So it is our periodic table. If you see the green patch here, helium, neon, argon, then krypton, selenium, then these are the elements which are available in our nature in single form. They are available in single form. So these are called as a noble gases. What we will call them as noble gases. Now the next one is diatomic. Next one is what? Diatomic. So these are the elements which available in our nature in group of two elements, group of two atoms. So element is single but they are containing two atoms, like hydrogen. Hydrogen is available in 2. Nitrogen, it is available in 2. Oxygen, it is available in 2 form. Now the next one is triatomic. So these are, and again they contain 3 atoms. Even the oxygen may available in O3. So if we will go in nature, in nature oxygen is available in O2, but when the O2 is combined with another oxygen, it will form ozone. What it will give us? Ozone. Next, polyatomic. So composed of 3 or more than 3 atoms, they are called as polyatomic. Like phosphorus, P indicating phosphorus, it may contain 4 atoms. It contains 4 atoms. So S8, sulfur. Sulfur contains 8 atoms. So this is called as a polyatomics. So I hope you understood what you mean by monoatomic, diatomic, triatomic and polyatomic. So another thing you have to remember, that all metals are monoatomic. Almost all metals are monoatomic and all gases are diatomic. They are diatomic. Now, let us move towards molecules of different elements. Molecules of different elements. So, molecules of an element are constituted by the same type of elements. So, when we will take O2, O2 is a combination of O plus O, then only it will give you O2. If you take O3, again O3 is a combination of 3O, then only you will get ozone. So like this, phosphorus, sulfur, if you take, they contain same type of elements. They contain same type of molecules, then only they will exist in the form of single element. So next we are going to study about ions. So what are ions? So when we will take an atom consists these ions. Atom consists these ions. So when we will take any atom, it will be a neutral with a number of protons, number of electrons, right? So ions are the elements which are positively charged or negatively charged. They contain positively charged or negatively charged. So we are indicating them as a cation as well as anion. So cations are those which are ready to lose the electrons. They are ready to give the electrons, and anions are those which are already ready to take the electrons. They are always ready to take the electrons. And neutral atoms are those which are neither take the electrons or not give the electrons. Yes, they are already fulfilled, their stomach is full. That's why they are not ready to take any electron, and they are not ready to give any electrons. Once again, cations are those which are ready to give the electron. Anions are those which are ready to gain the electron. Neutral one is there, that is neither take the electron nor give the electrons. See, all metals from cations, all metals are cations because they are lose the electrons, and all non-metals are anions because they gain the electrons. So now we are going to study about chemical formula. What we are going to study? Chemical formula. A chemical formula is a way of presenting information about the chemical proposition of an atom that constitute a particular chemical compound or a molecule using chemical element symbol. So chemical formula. So already we know that how the photosynthesis will takes place, right? When the photosynthesis will takes place, which chemical reaction will be held, what will be reduced there. Again, we studied about how HCl will be formed, how acid will be react. In last year we studied about the some chemical reactions, but now we are going to study here about how to form the chemical reaction, how the chemicals will be react with each other. So now, if you take a water molecule, here hydrogen already we know that hydrogen it exists in two molecules. It contains two atoms. When two atoms of hydrogen mix with one atom of oxygen, no doubt oxygen also exists in the nature that two or three atom. But when hydrogen will combine with oxygen, it will combine with one atom of oxygen and forms water. What will happen? Hydrogen of two molecules combined with one molecule of oxygen and form a one molecule of water. So keep in mind, when they will be react, the mass will be equal at both sides. So another example if we will take, that is magnesium chloride, MgCl. What we will can take? MgCl. So magnesium it contains two ions and chlorine contains one minus ion. So here one is cation, another one is anion. So already we studied about like this, that MgCl2 how they will react. This minus 1 will goes with the Mg and this 2 will goes with the chloride. So we will get the formula what? MgCl2. We will get the formula what? MgCl2. Now another example if we will take, that is ferrous hydroxide, or we can indicating it as a iron hydroxide. So iron it is present in nature with a 3 atom, and hydroxide it is containing minus 1 ion. So one is cation, another one is anion. This minus 1 will goes to the iron and this plus 3 will goes to the hydroxide. So what reaction will happen here? Then ferrous trihydroxide that we will get. So like this many reactions are there here. Then magnesium sulfide is given, copper hydroxide is given, aluminium bromide is given. So please open the textbook. In your textbook also many reactions are given. Try to read it and try to understand. If you not understand, please WhatsApp me. If you have any problem, then I will solve that problem. Next, we are going to move towards concept of writing formula. Concept of writing formula. So, some points we have to remember while writing the concept, while writing the formula. So, which are those? First one, the valencies or charge on the ion must be balanced. So, keep in mind when we will take LHS, two atoms are there which are reacting, and when we will get the product, that side RHS will be always equal to LHS. So sometimes what will happen when the elements will be react, hydrogen will be released, oxygen will be released, or water will be released. Why that they are releasing? Because we are balancing the chemical reaction. That's why that hydrogen, oxygen, sometimes water molecules will be released out. When a compound consists of metal or a non-metal, the name or a symbol of the metal is written first. For example, calcium oxide, sodium chloride, iron sulfide, copper oxide, where oxygen, chlorine, sulfur are non-metals and are written on the right, whereas calcium, sodium, iron, copper are metals and are written on the left. So what will happen when we are writing the chemical formula? Always the combination of two atoms we are writing at this side, and if it is a single they are writing at this side. So what they are telling, that calcium oxide, what the compound consists of a metal or a non-metal, the name or a symbol of the metal is written first. The name or a symbol will be written first. Suppose if you take calcium oxide, it will be written first, then the single compound will be written as a plus. For example, if we will take calcium oxide, so calcium oxide plus hydrogen. So what I did, the calcium hydroxide, a compound I took first, then atom I took second. So in this way only we are writing the chemical formula. If we will have ferrous sulfide plus hydrogen, the ferrous sulfide will comes here first, then hydrogen will be here. Next, in compound formed with the polyatomic ions, the ions is enclosed in a bracket before writing the number of indicate the ratio. So one example I will tell you what it is. Suppose Na. Suppose sodium I have, or iron I have. Suppose iron I have, and iron is going to react with water, right? So when the reaction will happen, that iron we are writing as OH twice. So this 2 will becomes here. This 2 will becomes here. So one example I will show you. So here copper hydroxide. What will happen here? Copper is one sub atom, hydroxide is another atom. So this two hydroxide, it is a combination of oxygen and hydrogen. How we written? The combination of oxygen and hydrogen forms hydroxide. So this two will be right at the outside of the bracket. So this is the method while writing the chemical reaction. So one example is here, that is we took hydrogen and chlorine. Here L is missing. Hydrogen and chlorine both have 1 valencies. So this will be combined and form hydrogen chloride. It will be formed as a hydrogen chloride. So next we are going to study about mole concept. So mole concept is what? Mole concept is defined as the amount of substance that contains as many atoms, molecules, ions, electrons or any other elementary entities. So mole concept, what we can divide? Mole concept is what? It will be contain a number of molecules or ions or electrons in that particular element. So mole concept we can measure in terms of 6.023 into 10 raised to 23 particles of that matter. So mole concept, that much only you remember, and afterwards we will study it more about the mole concept. Now we are going to study about Avogadro's number. Avogadro's number was given by the scientist Avogadro. It was given by the scientist Avogadro. So what is Avogadro's number? So this number, the entity of measuring mole concept, the entity of measuring mole concept is given by the Avogadro's number. That number is 6.0221 into 10 raised to 23. This number was given by Avogadro's. So who he is? He is a famous big scientist who is worked on electrons, atoms, ions and molecules. And what he said, the number of inner units in one mole of any substance is called as a, the number of units is 1 mole in any substance. It is defined as its molecular weight in grams. It is equal to 6.20221 into 10 raised to 23, and the units may be electrons, atoms, ions or molecules depending on the nature of the substance and the character of the reaction. The nature of the substance and the character of reaction. So somehow we are going to study about this Avogadro. His birth is done, he took birth in 1776, and he is known for Avogadro's law and Avogadro's constant. Thank you.